Hey, family. Welcome back to another one. Desiree D. Ray Wise here, spiritual healing coach, helping you to heal your relationship with self, to heal your relationship with others. We are back with another one. Yes, today we're going to be talking about these love languages. I know y'all seen them before. I know you've heard of it before, but there's a deeper spiritual truth to it that we got to talk about today. A lot of times people are like, oh, I love quality time, or I love physical touch, or I love acts of service, right? All of these different things. But we don't understand that there's a spiritual reason behind what our love language is, right? And so we got to talk about that. Y'all know for the entire month of June, I personally am focusing on my journey towards unlimited nourishment and empowerment. So I'm talking about everything that has to do with nourishing ourselves, nurturing ourselves, empowering ourselves, increasing ourselves, and just being who and what we were designed and created to be. And one of the ways that we nourish ourselves is absolutely through understanding our love language. It's through understanding how we receive love and how we give love, we can be nourished, okay? And so we're going to be dealing with that, diving into that. Make sure that y'all like and share the video for your girl. Go ahead and like and share the video because we are going to have a good time today, right? We're going to have a good time today. Real quick, trying to get this PDF or this little slideshow up here. So give me a quick moment. Oop, we are ready. We are ready. Definitely share the video, y'all, because I didn't get a chance to share it. I was supposed to send this video out to my email community. If you are not signed up to my email, you should be. All right, you definitely should be because I got some good stuff coming up for all of us, especially for all the ladies. All right, so here's the first question we're going to be diving in today. What is the spiritual significance of recognizing and understanding our own love language and that of our partners? That's the first question we're going to be diving into today. Do me a favor right now. Go ahead and put in the comments what your love language is, right? What is the way that you receive love? Because I want to know that you know how you receive love, how you feel that nourishment. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Hey, girl. Hey, CC. Hey, Peach Butter. Hey, the lady of the district. Hey, Ren. Hey, love. Let me know in the comments what your love language is, right? Like for me, my love language is definitely going to be words of affirmation. I need some words of affirmation. That's just me. I need that feedback. I need to know that I'm doing a good job. I need to know that you are seeing me, that you're feeling me, that you're, I need to know that through your words. That's me, right? Can y'all hear me well? Because Dream says make sure you're using the right microphone. Can y'all hear me? Let me make sure that y'all can hear me before I keep on going here. Make sure, can y'all hear me well? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat. Yes, I'm hoping y'all can. Okay, yes, we can hear you. All right, perfect. All right, let me see what some of y'all are saying. Peach Butter said, a lady of the district says quality time and touch. Ooh, Peach Butter says acts of service. I love you too, Iman. Hey, sis. Ren says affirmation. Iman, words of affirmation and physical touch. Quality time. Awesome. Good. I'm glad y'all know that. I'm glad y'all know what y'all's love languages are because as we talk more about this, your mind is gonna kind of just be blown by these understandings, okay? So when we know the truth, okay, when we know the truth about our receptive and expressive love language, this allows us to nourish and nurture the deepest parts of ourselves. The deepest parts of ourselves, right? When we know our love language and we can communicate that to our partners, all right, this is what allows us to be properly loved. This is what allows us to be loved in the way that we deeply desire. On the audio feature, see if the mic is connected. The mic is definitely connected. I don't know if it's the right mic, but it says mic. All right, babe, I don't know. Everybody's saying you can hear me, but can you hear me clearly? And can you hear me good? It says it's on the default microphone. You know I don't know. Okay, Peach Butter says I sound fine. Babe, you know I don't know. You know you would have to come up here and help me figure that out. All right, cool. Cool. They say they hear me good, so we're gonna keep this party started. Y'all know Dream just wants it to be top tier, best of the best, because that's who he is. Okay. I love that. Thank you, babe. All right. So the spiritual significance of recognizing and understanding our own and our partner's love language is the opportunity to heal and transform past wounds. Right? Is that something that y'all ever thought about before? Have you all ever thought about the fact that maybe there is some sort of connection between your love language and your past childhood wounds? There's some inner child stuff, some inner child work that has to happen when it comes down to our love language and our relationships. Have you guys ever considered that that could be a very real thing? I want you to know that it is. Okay. So something that I discovered, y'all, that I love is that our love language, how we receive love, is directly connected to what was neglected in our childhood. Okay? Let's say that again. How we desire to receive love, how we crave love and connection is directly connected to what was neglected in our childhood. So for those of you who are saying, I like physical touch, I would ask you to reflect on, did you receive a lot of hugs when you were a child? One of my best friends, her name is Elise, love her, right? We were talking a little while ago. She was like, yeah, I'm dating this new guy. It was so good because she was like, she was dating this guy at this one point in time who was not very affectionate, but she found him super attractive, right? Like he was her type all the way. He was a business owner, entrepreneur, go-getter type guy. He had drive. He had money, right? He was a giver of physical things, like he gave gifts and things like that. That's the type of guy that he is, right? But he was not into physical touch, right? Like, of course, during sexy time, he's good, but like just putting his hand on her hand while they're in the car, or cuddling up on the couch while watching a movie. These are not things that he was into. And so one day we're sitting at our dining room table and we're kind of talking about her love life and what she wants from relationships. And she's just like, whoever I date, they have to be into physical touch. They have to be affectionate. They have to want to be lovey-dovey, be close, be up under each other. And I asked her, I was like, why do you think that is? She said, I never really saw my mother and my father kiss and hug. She said, like, my dad never really gave me hugs. Like, it was all kind of just like, he showed his love through his action. He showed his love through being a provider. And I took mental note of that. And I was like, wow, so your love language or something that you need in your relationship is directly connected to the fact that you did not receive it as a kid. And we both had this like beautiful aha moment, and it caused me to reflect on myself. So for me, with words of affirmation, I need to know that my friends, my partner, my children, I need to know through your words that you feel me, that you understand me, and that you love me through your words, right? through you using your words, through you using your voice, because that's not something that I really got, right? My mother didn't always just say, I love you. My father didn't always say, I love you, right? I've told y'all this before. I grew up and they didn't really say, you're beautiful, great job. I love what you did. I love how you did that. I see you. They didn't really say that through their mouths. They really did a lot of that through their actions. And so in my relationships, I need to be validated through words. I need to receive love through words of affirmation. Okay? Through words of affirmation. But another thing that Desiree, loves is gifts. A good, thoughtful gift, oh my God, my heart is just full. Okay, my heart is just full. So, like, Iman is in the Sacred Sister Circle. Some of y'all are in the Sacred Sister Circle. On my birthday last year, I did a live workshop, a live class. We did like a goddess ritual, right? If y'all were there, shout out to all of y'all because we had a good time. So we did this live workshop, this live ritual with all the ladies. All of y'all came and we did our thing on my birthday last year. And it was a beautiful time. After we finished up that session, I went downstairs and there's just this beautiful bouquet of sunflowers. And when I tell y'all, my heart just melted. And then, of course, I get it and I read the note and it says something sweet like, thank you for being a sacred sister or a spiritual sister from your Sacred Sister Circle family. So Iman and the rest of the Sacred Sisters, they kind of sent me those flowers. And that was like the sweetest gift that I had received on that day because it was so beautiful. It was so intentional. It was so thoughtful. Okay. And the reason why that's one of my love languages, that's one of the ways that I like to receive love is because I didn't grow up specifically from my father. Y'all, my daddy was not a gift giver. He's still not a gift giver. Like, dude, at your big age, you would think that you would give gifts, and he still don't. It is so weird to me, right? Well, actually, I should say he's gotten better. His wife is a gift giver, and so he kind of gets weaved into that. But if it was up to him, he ain't getting no gifts. It just doesn't come to his head. Y'all, I grew up. Birthdays come around. I'm like so excited for a gift from my dad. Doesn't happen. Like, what was that about, y'all? What was that about? I don't get it. I don't get how my father, birthdays, Christmas, these things come around, and he's not coming in bearing gifts. I don't know what that is about, right? He did love me in other ways, but giving gifts, that was not a thing. So naturally, as I become an adult, I like thoughtful, intentional gifts because that was something that was neglected in my childhood, right? Specifically from my father. All right. So this weekend, y'all, this weekend was my dad's birthday was on Tuesday, the 11th, that Fortuna Day. And we celebrated his birthday this weekend. We went out to eat 2 nights in a row. We went out to eat Saturday. We went out to eat Sunday. Beautiful time. Of course, his mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather, thank God that they are still here alive and well and they get to be great grandparents. That is such a gift. They came into town. They live 5 hours away, so they came into town. So we wanted to spend as much time with them as possible. My grandma, y'all, one of her love languages, one of the ways that she shows love is through gifts. It's through gifts. But why my grandma bring me a bag full of clothes? I'm talking about, y'all, it must have been a Shein special, okay? Shein, on top of their already discounted prices, my grandma must have gotten a discount code, okay, for Shein, because sis came with bags of clothes, right? Bags of clothes. And I'm grateful for it. She had all of these clothes for the kids, these shirts that said all of these different things, like I love mom, and that was great. But she brought me some clothes too, y'all. She brought me some clothes. Y'all, why I pull the clothes out the bags and it's all like clothes that were meant for her that maybe she couldn't fit or that maybe she couldn't wear. So she said, well, let me just give this to Desi. She calls me Desi for short. I'm gonna just give this to Desi. Desi may be able to fit this. Y'all, why she bought me a cape, and let me not say she bought me, she brought me. She didn't buy this for me. I feel like she bought this for herself, but because she's still a gift giver, she's like, I'm gonna give this to Desi. Maybe Desi can figure it out. Y'all, my grandma bought a cape. The neck comes about up to here, okay? The arms come all the way down to here, like, but it's a cape though, y'all. The arms come down to here. The arms got pearls wrapped around the arms. Y'all, when I tell you this thing is so old timey, I did not know Shein has a part of their store. You know how they have like the kids, and you got men's, and you got home, and you got the plus size, and you got that. My grandma must have been shopping in elderly. Like, you know, they must have like a geriatric, right? They must have a geriatric part of Shein. Y'all let me know. Look, Iman saying she need a picture. Babe, I know you're listening. Go get KJ. Tell KJ on my bed is the little cape. Bring it up here. Tell KJ to bring it up here. Because I was supposed to bring it up here anyways, because I wanted to show y'all this, because I was just like, Grandma. And then here goes Dream. This is Dream. This is the other day when I pulled the clothes out. He talking about this. Do you think that this is very thoughtful? He asking me, do you think that this is very thoughtful? I'm like, babe, she did give me one good dress. She gave me one good dress, one good summer maxi dress that I think is great. Actually, I already wore it. Like I wore it like the next day. I wore it the next day, and I was beautiful. I was comfortable in it. In fact, when I had put it on and came out in the living room and was, you know, getting ready for the day, Dream says to me, "Oh, babe, you look exquisite." So she did good with one article of clothing, but the other ones, child, them was geriatric. It was a geriatric Shein special. And I'm like, grandma, like grandma, but she's a gift giver though. And listen, I can't even blame her. I can't even blame her. She's retired. They're on a fixed income, right? She don't work, has not worked in years. So she's getting paid off of her, you know, 401k pension. Come here, baby, open the door. Thanks, babe. So look at the geriatric Shein special we got going on here. I didn't even let me let y'all see this, because this. I was like, Grandma, what am I supposed to do with this, Grandma? And then the crazy part about it, y'all, is I be wanting to keep some of this stuff because I'm like, man, grandmas are precious. Grandmas are so precious. And like, I be wanting to keep certain stuff. Look at this, y'all. Man, I'm gonna put it on. Let's see. I put it on the other day just so I could see. Dream was like, man, take that off. All right, take that off. Look, you see the pearls, right? You see the pearls. Why my grandma do me like that? Why my grandma do me like that? She's so funny. She's so funny. And she was so for real. She was so for real. Let's see. I don't know why she brought me this. She knows she could still wear this. Turtleneck. Ain't no way, Grandma. Ain't no way. I'm young and youthful. What I'm gonna do with this, Grandma? You know this is Shein special, okay? Look at that. You got the pearls. Look at that. Look, I'm a look at that. What am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with it? But be Grandma E, okay? But be Grandma E. You know what? Like, I'm just gonna say, thank you, Grandma. Girl, look. You know what I said? Girl, you look like you about to fly away. Exactly. But she's a gift giver, okay? But she's a gift giver. That's her love language. But this ain't it. Look. Iman talking about, girl, it's a choir robe. Exactly. My grandma know I love to sing, okay? She know I love to sing. Dream Wise talking about, that's the Jehovah Witness 3000. Exactly. My grandma really played. She really played with this one. See, now I don't know what to do with it. If y'all were me, look, it's giving choir robe. What grandma think I'm wearing this too? What she think I'm wearing this too? I don't go to nobody's church, right? My church is at my house. Sunday service is at my house. Sunday service is me, Dream, them kids, and sometimes the Patreon family. You know, you know. But that's her language of love. That's her language of love. I'm not mad. That's her language of love. That's her showing love on her fixed income from Shein. Okay, so I'm not mad at my grandma. I receive it. But then I'm gonna release it. Okay, I receive it, and now I'm gonna release it. Absolutely, y'all. I donate things that we don't wear. I donate things like I go through the kids' drawers every few weeks. I go through my own drawers every few weeks. And if I have not worn it, if I no longer like it, if I no longer resonate with it, it is getting donated. It is absolutely getting donated. Because guess what? Some grandma, some grandma, some older lady, some elder, right? Some elder will go into the Goodwill, will go into the thrift store. She will find that and she will love it. She will love it. She will say, this is perfect for whatever she got going on, right? She will love it. So my grandma, though, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that she brought clothes, y'all, because as a kid, my dad never bought us clothes. And I guess my grandma just knew that that's not. What are you busting in here like that? My audio is pissing you off? Y'all, he done bust in here like he was the police. That's your love language, acts of service? That is your love language.
Told you it's on the wrong mic.
Okay, but I didn't know the difference.
Okay, wait. Let me make sure.
You literally just came in here like you kicked dough.
Yeah.
You literally just kicked door or bust through here.
Language, nigga. What's up, y'all? It's yeah. In this yeah. In this yeah.
You gotta chill. You gotta chill.
All right, I'm done.
I'm glad you noticed that. Look, Peach Butter just said it does sound different.
No, I'm telling you,
Okay. Yeah, he bust through the door like he was about to come and arrest somebody. Like, sir, my guy, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, it sounded better. Okay, so he was on to something. Shout out to you, babe. That is absolutely his love language. That's the way he expresses love is through acts of service. And we're going to talk about why we express love in the way that we do. Cuz I know my grandma, right? My grandma every year, let me tell y'all how blessed we were as kids and really how blessed we still are. As kids, every new school year, every time it was a new school year, in August, my grandma would have a big box of clothes dropped off to our house, right? Because y'all know I grew up with a single mother, but my grandmother and my mother always maintained a beautiful, nice, sacred relationship, right? And so my grandmother every August, every time school was about to come back around, she literally would have a box from Macy's, right? Quality clothes. My grandmother would get us a box from Macy's sent to our house. And we would open this box and it would be like Christmas. It would be like an early Christmas. When I tell you all the jackets we probably would have wanted, and we wore school uniforms, so it wasn't really that special, but it was just nice to have this fresh new crisp collared shirt and fresh skirts and shorts and pants. That's how my grandma was. Every year, she sent a box of clothes to get us ready for school. What a gift. That was her love language. That's how she expressed her love. I truly feel like that expression of love from her came from her mother, my great grandmother. Whenever I asked my grandmother about my great grandmother, who I did know, right? My grandma Larice, man, y'all want to know something? My grandma Larice was the first ancestor I ever saw in the dream realm. And she passed away when I was in elementary school. She passed away when I was in elementary school. And I remember one night, y'all, I am a kid. This was so crazy. I had nobody to talk to about this. I'm a kid. And in my dream, we're at the church. We're at her funeral in my dream. And in my dream, she stands up, she gets up out of her casket. She has on this um it kind of looked like this, right? It kind of looked like this in a sense. I ain't even gonna hold you. I am not even, when I tell y'all I'm not playing with y'all, it kind of looked like this type of thing, but it was like a coral color. It was like a coral, orangish, pinkish, melded color. My grandma, my great grandmother, rises out of her casket in this dream and she floats down the aisle to me in this dream. That was my first time seeing an ancestor in my dream. And that grandmother, that great grandmother, was always into fashion, right? Clothes was her thing. If she could have had a profession, well, she had a profession, but it wasn't fashion. But her passion was clothes, my great grandmother. And so, yeah, that's kind of funny. So then that translated into my grandmother's language of love being that of giving gifts of clothes, because that's what her mother used to do. So you see, when we look at our love languages, right? When we look at our love languages, we are getting the opportunity to reconcile some of our childhood stuff. We get to expand on some of the childhood things that didn't go right, that we didn't like, right? We get to change those things, and we get to expand on the things that were good, that were well, right? So, how can we use the knowledge of our love languages to heal past traumas and enhance our current relationships, right? So, understand our love language reveals the deficiencies and the surplus of love in our childhood. So, if those hugs and those kisses were deficient in your childhood, you may grow up wanting more hugs, more love, more kisses, more physical touch. Okay. And a lot of times it's based off of the parent of the opposite sex. So this gets very juicy. This gets very good. So because my father wasn't really a gift giver in my relationships, I want gifts. Because of my father didn't really give me words of affirmation, in my relationships, I crave words of affirmation. So I want y'all to let me know in the comments. If you are a woman, think about what your father did not do. If you are a man, think about what your mother did not do, right? And let me know in the comments if you can determine if your love language or what you desire is actually in alignment with whatever that deficiency was. Let me know in the comments if y'all see it that way, right? While y'all are doing that, it's so funny now, y'all, because we went out to eat. Like I said, we went out to eat on Saturday and Sunday this past weekend to celebrate my brother who just graduated from high school. Shout out to him. Just graduated from high school. And then my dad's birthday. We celebrated both of those things on Sunday and on Saturday. And my dad is so enamored by my children, right? And he loves them so deeply, so presently. When I tell y'all, my dad shows up for these kids, he shows up for them. He never allows it. Like every other week, he's coming to see his grandkids and he's coming bearing gifts. He's coming with gifts. Yes, some of the gifts be free. Some of the gifts he brings them It's stuff he got sitting around the car. Maybe he went to a company event, and at the company event, they gave cups and hats and pens. Guess what? He bringing that stuff over here to these kids. I don't really fancy that. I don't really like that because it just be adding clutter to our house. But the kids love it. And guess what, y'all? My daddy never did that for us. He just didn't do that for us. And so it's like all the things that I wanted as a kid, he's like matured into that now with our kids. Is that something that y'all are recognizing too? Like my mother used to not have no patience for my emotional side, right? My mother could not nurture my sensitivity. But now, oh my goodness, my kids cry. Oh, what's wrong? Oh, it's okay. But for me, it was what you crying for? I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Like what? It's like parents become grandparents and they become better than they were for us. Ain't that crazy? I'm like, what is that? Is it just age? Is it maturity? Is it they learn something new? Or is it because they are not there by their child that now they can have more grace, they can have more love, they can have more openness? What do y'all think that is? Because I don't understand. My mama used to not take no shit from me. I couldn't look crazy. I couldn't talk crazy. I couldn't cry. I couldn't do none of that. These kids, they feel sad. She got a hug to offer. I didn't get no hugs. I didn't get no hugs when I was sad. I had to go in my room. I had to go in my shared room. It wasn't even my own room. Y'all know my mother was a single mother. And me and my brothers, we shared a room for a long time. We didn't get our own rooms till we was like 14, 15, right? So I had to go in my room, get a little journal like y'all see here, and I would write to God. Dear God, why is my family so mean? Why am I the only one that feels like that's how I had to console myself. I had to talk to God and get some, I had to get some love and some understanding by me just going to talk to God myself. My kids, let them come to her and they feeling some type of way about something. She ready to listen and welcome them in with open arms, and she just is gonna love on them. Let me see what y'all are saying. Peach Butter says, I'm still self-consoling. She said hers has not changed. She said, treat them kids the same way they did her, right? Just a little better than what you got. Wow, that's interesting. She said, Celestial Earth Goddess said, probably living and learning. Also, people tend to be stricter with their kids. Absolutely true, right? Iman says she noticed the same thing with her mom as well. Dream says, grandparent status, they get closer to the frequency of earth, heart, love. That's good. That's good. And I would also say, here's a major difference. Wow. Thank you, Spirit, for this revelation. Wow. This is really going to connect the dots for y'all because it just did something very deep inside of me. This, when Spirit starts to communicate and you start to really feel truth, you feel it in your heart. It really shakes up the cells. It shakes up your frequency. But what Spirit just said to me is that they are able to be better grandparents now because they're no longer in survival mode. When our parents were raising us, they were in survival mode. Survival mode. They're doing it a lot of them were doing it by themselves. A lot of them did not have passion, did not have a purpose. Their reason for being here was literally they just got to raise these kids. Their goal was, let me make sure you make it to 18. Let me make sure that you have some skills. Let me make sure that I teach you some of the things that you need to survive. They were in survival mode, so they were teaching us to survive. They were teaching us to overcome. Like, I rarely saw my mom cry. The only time I saw my mom cry was when my grandfather passed away. When my grandfather passed away, that's when I saw my mom cry for the first time. And I was already like in elementary school. I understood emotion, I understood death at that time. And that was the first time that I saw her cry. And so, how can my mother emotionally console me if she did not have the space, the time, and the energy to console herself? Okay. She's working a low income job. She's doing her best to survive and to make sure that we are fed. So, because she was in survival mode, some of those unspoken things that we needed, she couldn't give. And now, oh my God, I'm so freaking proud of my mother because she's no longer in fight or flight. For a long time, she was in fight or flight. My dad, too, for a long time, they were in fight or flight. They're just surviving. You know, car note barely paid, rent barely paid, right? Um, and then they got these kids. They got these little people. They're still young. They're still trying to figure it out. And so just the ability to be present, they did not have. They're everywhere. Okay. Like, I gotta cook, I gotta make sure these bills are paid, I gotta get you to school, I gotta make sure you got lunch money and all of that. So there was no space and time to really nurture us and to nurture me as a being. Okay. And so that makes sense. Thank you, Spirit, for that revelation. They were in survival mode. And so if your parents are still in survival mode, they probably can't be present with you or be present with their grandkids because they're still in a cycle of fight or flight. So that's very interesting. And it highlights the understanding of why we have to get out of fight or flight. Because when we are in fight or flight, when we are in survival mode, we can nurture, nourish, and empower ourselves. And we can't nurture, nourish, and empower the people that we love. Okay. So that's a major aha moment. Thank you, Spirit, for that. It's not that our parents didn't want to give us those things. This is something that should really give us peace and solace. It's not that our parents didn't want to give that to us. They just couldn't. They couldn't. They didn't have it. They didn't have it for themselves. If they don't have it for themselves, how can they give it to you? Okay. How can they give it to you if they didn't have it for themselves? You know, my dad, I think about the fact that he did not give gifts. He didn't have it. He didn't have it, right? He didn't have it. You know, and that's just a very interesting thing, right? I'm glad some of y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. I'm glad some of y'all are understanding that concept, right? But we got to understand that our love language, right? Like how we show love and how we receive love is really just based off of what was deficient and what was abundant in our lives. All right. So how do we use now? What did I write here? How do childhood experiences and unmet needs shape our love languages and the way we express love in adulthood? Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I understand. Here's the thing that I've been understanding. Those unmet needs often become focal points of dissatisfaction in relationships. Our partners may very well be giving us that which we deeply yearn and need, but because we are not used to having that quality of love, we don't recognize it when it is present. Wow. So, when there's something we don't receive in our childhood, okay, it becomes the very thing that we are looking for in our relationships, but we can't see it because we don't know what it looks like. So for me personally, I used to crave emotional support, right? Like emotional security, emotional safety. Vulnerability is a love language for me. Okay. Vulnerability is a love language for me because that's something that I didn't receive, right? Like I just said, my mother was in survival mode, so she did not know how to take care of my emotional wellness, right? And so something that I would do in relationships and something that I've actually done with Dream is I would feel some type of way about something, even though I very well could resolve it on my own. Like I very well could figure it out on my own. And this is very true for a lot of us. Like for a lot of us women, we just want our men to hear us. We're not really asking for advice, right? I'm not really asking you to tell me what to do to fix my situation. I just want to know that you hear me. I just want to know that you understand how I'm feeling. Don't tell me what to do cuz I don't need you to tell me what to do. That ain't what I'm here for. I'm talking to you because I want to be consoled because that's something that I never received. Okay? And because it's something that I never received, even though I am unconsciously asking for that, asking for that, asking for that, even though I'm unconsciously asking for that, I can't identify when it's actually happening. And so sometimes, Dream and I'll be talking about something and he'll be giving feedback. He'll be doing what he feels like he needs to do. And I feel like, you're not listening. You're not understanding. When in reality, he's understanding. He's taking in what I'm saying, but he's just giving me what he feels like I need in the moment. So, because my emotional security was neglected as a child, sometimes unconsciously we'll create situations to have emotional safety and security, to feel that. Okay. So, it be happening like this where, I'll give y'all a great example. This happened at the beginning of maybe last year's school year. Something happened at the school. I don't want to even tell the whole story again. Some of y'all know it, but something happened at the school with our kid and it triggered me. It triggered me, right? Basically, a little girl had said something to our kid. My kid did not even hear it, right? My kid did not even hear it, but I heard it. And it triggered something inside of me, made me very emotional. So I go to Dream and I talk to him about it. And our conversation added more triggering energy because when I was telling him about what I was feeling, he started to tell me, oh, don't worry about it, babe. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, KJ, da, 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 it's not that important. He just started telling me things like that, which was true. Like what he was saying was true. But what I wanted from him was just to say, I understand why you feel like that, babe. I get it. He's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I know you're just being a good mom. I know you just want the best for our kids. That's all I really wanted, right? That's all I really needed. But the point is that sometimes we unconsciously create scenarios so that we can receive that aspect of love that was neglected in our childhood. It's like a child that's acting out. We've seen this before, right? Where there is a kid that just is acting out. They bouncing off the wall. They just acting crazy. And deep inside, everybody that's looking at this kid, everybody that is observing this kid's behavior, what does that child need? Y'all let me know in the comments. When you see a child that's bouncing off the wall, that's acting crazy, that's acting out, what does that child need? What is that child really asking for? Y'all know the answer. If you've seen it before, if you've parented before, if you've been auntie and uncle before, you know the answer to this. Let's see if we're on the same page. What is that kid needing? That kid at the school that's just always attention. Thank you, the modest more. That child is just craving attention. And sometimes we think that only kids are doing this. Only kids are acting out to crave attention. So what does that mean? That child was needing quality time. That child is needing quality time. That child is needing that one-on-one attention and affection. And because they're not getting it, they're going to do anything in their power to get some sort of attention, even if it's negative attention. And funny enough, we do the same thing as adults. We'll create an issue, we'll create a problem just to be validated or invalidated. Oh, this is sometimes we will put ourselves in situations to potentially receive that thing that we're missing. And when it doesn't show up in the way that we think it should, we'll say, oh, I knew it wasn't real. I knew that wasn't love. I knew you couldn't emotionally validate me. I knew you couldn't be a safe space for me. I want to make sure that that's making sense for y'all. I want to make sure that that's making sense for y'all. Let me know in the comments. And if it's not, please ask the question. Please ask a question if it's not making sense. Okay? So there have been times where I've been having a whirlwind of emotions in my being. I'm a very emotional person. It's a part of my superpower, right? Very emotional person. It's a part of my superpower. And for so long, like I said, I had to console myself. So now that I have this divine masculine partner, sometimes I go to talk to him about things that I very well could resolve on my own. But because one of my love languages is that emotional safety, because one of my love language is those words of affirmation, I go to talk to him so that I can receive that nurturing. Knowing your love language is so important because when you know it, you will allow yourself to be nurtured and nourished in the way that you need to in order for you to be the best version of yourself, right? And then there's no shame in that, right? There's no shame in knowing what it is that you need based off of what you did not receive as a child. Understand that in our relationships, we are being given the opportunity to heal our past wounds. And so we have to honor that and take advantage of that. Okay? And so the nurturing comes in many ways. I know through observing Dream that what he really needs from me is unconditional support, right? He needs to know, from my observation of him, he needs to know that I have his back and that I'm there and that I'm paying attention. That I'm paying attention to what he's doing. I'm paying attention to what he's saying. I'm paying attention to the work that he's doing. I'm present with him. I know that that is something that he needs from me. Even though on the opposite side, that's something that I always received, right? Something that I always received was my mother was always going to be present. At all the basketball games, she going to be there. Yes, she going to be yelling, clapping, getting on the referee nerves, getting on my coach nerves, maybe even making me upset. Y'all, I realized this some months ago, that though my mother was present at my games, I would often feel embarrassed. I would feel embarrassed because she had she she had so much passion. That's my child. That's a foul, ref. Take her out the game. I mean, that was my mama, right? My mama was there, but she was so aggressively present. She was going to make sure I knew she was there. She couldn't just sit in the stands and be quiet. She couldn't just sit in the stands and be quiet. She had to make her presence known because she's a Leo, and Leos, their energy is all about being seen. Their energy is all about being seen. So she like, I'm here for mine. And you know, it was so funny because I would get embarrassed because she would be having she would be a lot of the attention will be going on to her. And sometimes it was negative attention. Like sometimes my teammates would be looking at me like, damn, that's your mama? Oh my God. Right? It used to be crazy like that. I used to be embarrassed. And so I used to be embarrassed by the attention and sometimes embarrassed by her presence. So having somebody there, right? Having somebody there to say, you know, and all of that, that's one of my love languages. So here's what I want to say to you. A lot of the ways that you show love is based off of how love was shown to you. So because my mom cooked, my mama is a cooking woman. She cooks right now. Because my mom cooked, right? Because my mom was always present at my games, because my mom always supported my desires and what I wanted to do, and she was always there. Because that's what she did, that's how I show love. So now, when I'm cooking dinner or when I'm cooking breakfast, that's a way of me showing love. But a person who did not receive that may not feel like that's a love language for them. Right? Right? Or they may. Or they may. Like I feel like Dream gets very excited when I cook dinner. He loves when I cook. He is so grateful to receive that food from me. Right? Because maybe that's his mama ain't, you know, I'm gonna hey, my mother-in-law, she probably will come across this video, but to me, she not a real cook. Just to me, you know, I don't, no shade, no shade. But you know, there's a difference between people that prepare food and people that cook. My mother-in-law is more of a preparer. Y'all know what I mean? Like she more of a preparer. Like things got to already kind of come together. I'm more of the type where I can look at these different ingredients, I know what spices work well together. I know what things I know how to make it feel like home. Do you understand what I mean? Like when I go into the store, I'm not buying these individual things and being like, oh, yeah, you're going to eat that or you're going to eat that. Like I'm looking at a big picture and bringing it all together. Right. And so I feel like me bringing Dream these well prepared meals that are full of flavor and that are full of love, I feel like he receives that as love, right? Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. But that's a way that I show love because that's one of the ways my mom showed love to me. That's one of the ways that my mom still shows love. Like my mom is the type of person that's like, oh, you having an event? I'm a cook. That's my mama. She like, what you want me to cook for the event? Don't worry, I'm gonna bring the food. So me, by nature, that's how I show love. My mother is very present. My mother is very present. She was very present. So the way that I express love, one of my love languages, one of the ways that I show you that I love you is by being present for you. So when my kids, this is so deep. So when my kids have field day, when they have an award ceremony, when they have the nutcracker, when they have volleyball practice, basketball practice, whatever, I'm going to be there. Now, I've learned from my mother not to be all loud and obnoxious in my showing up. I may say a word or two. All right, defense. All right, get low. But I'm not going to be, ref, that's a foul. I'm not going to do that. Now, unless the ref is letting the fouls go too far and somebody's about to get hurt, now I'm going to get on your ass because you're putting my kids in danger. But if everything is reasonable, if everything is copacetic, I'm just here to clap and support. Good job, good job, good job. Do we understand? Okay. So a lot of the times what your parents did for you that you've learned through observation becomes the way you show love. So with that being said, y'all let me know in the comments, how do you express love? Have you been able to make that connection to say, damn, my mama did that? So here's what I say about Dream. One of the ways that I feel like Dream shows love, like y'all just saw, is through acts of service. Through acts of service. Like he's going to do things for you. If I say, babe, I really want this, or babe, I need this done, he's going to do it. Like the other at the beginning of the month, I was doing my 3-day fast. I did a juice fast at the beginning of this month, and if y'all ever have a juicer, if you've ever juiced, you know, taking things apart to clean it and all of that stuff like that, it's a hassle. It can be a lot of work. He wakes up in the morning. He knows that I'm fasting. Such a great act of service. He disconnects the juicer, scrubs it up, gets it nice and clean, ready for me to make that juice. That's him showing love for me. But his mom is the same way. So when she comes over to the house, she's just going to grab the broom and start sweeping. When she comes over to the house, she's going to spray the counters and start wiping them. She comes over to the house. If there is something that needs to be straightened up, she's automatically going to start straightening it up, because that's how she shows love, right? That's how she expresses her love. So naturally, Dream picks up on that from his mother, because maybe his mother did that for him. Okay, let me help you straighten up your room. Let me help you fold your clothes. Let me help you do this. And now that becomes his language of love. Okay, so it's important to know these things, because when we know it, we know how we give and how we receive. And if you're ever feeling deficient or depleted in your love and in your relationships, then you have to ask yourself, is the person I'm connecting with fulfilling that deep yearn, that deep desire that I have? I was just telling Dream this yesterday. I was like, Desiree, your wife, I need intimacy. Not just bang, 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 bang intimacy, even though Dream knows this, y'all. So we were just having a general conversation. I was not coaching him on how to love me. We've been together for 9 years already. So he already knows these things, but we were just talking. I need to be able to cry on your shoulder. I need to, and I need for there just to be a gentleness. I need gentleness. I need softness in my life, because I was raised very hard. I was raised very hard for many, many years. I would hold a cry in. I wouldn't let myself cry because I didn't feel safe to cry. Like, I don't want to be looked at like I'm whining. I don't want to be looked like I got to have a physical reason to be crying. Like, I got to be hurt to cry, right? It can't just be something in my heart that I'm sensitive about. It can't just be, I had to have a reason to cry. And what I realize now for myself is that sometimes I have no reason at all, but whatever is happening in my internal world. Sometimes it's just I'm thinking about something, I'm contemplating on something, I'm remembering something, or I have a desire for something. Sometimes it's totally internal and my emotions are high, and I just need to know that I'm safe to feel how I feel. You know what I mean? But if I'm not aware of that, right? If I don't know that that's what I need, then I'm neglecting myself. I'm neglecting myself. I'm disempowering myself. So you need to know your love language and where it stems from, so that you can fuel yourself, so that you can nurture yourself, and so that you can healthily communicate to your partner what it is you desire, what it is you need. And then you also have to know how you show love. Because if you don't know how you show love and you can't communicate that or express that, your partner may look at you like, yeah, you don't be showing me love. You don't be showing me love. You ain't really giving me what I need. You need to say, you know what? My love language is when I cook that delicious meal that feeds your ass every night. Okay, that's how I show love, right? You need to say, my love language is being present for you, supporting you, really having your back. You need to be able to say that. But also at the same time, you have to be able to identify or be able to recognize what your partner's love language is. So, and I got to get better with this. I got to get better with this. So like for me personally, in Dream and I's relationship, for me, like I said, I didn't grow up with a lot of hugs. And so for me, it don't really register in my mind that this is how I crave love. Do you understand? It don't really register to me that that's what I need. But I realize that that's a big thing for Dream, physical touch. And so recognizing that that's a big thing for him, I have to extend myself and do a better job at hugging, do a better job at kissing. And then we could also be even more clear about this, because sometimes it is our very deep trauma that creates our love language, right? So for me, y'all have heard my story, but I've dealt with abandonment wounds, right? I've dealt with abandonment wounds. My mother and my father got a divorce when I was about 3 or 4 years old, and I still craved my father's love. And there were many times where he said that he was coming to the house. I'm coming to pick y'all up. I vividly remember we were living in an apartment, and I had my little bag packed. I had my backpack packed. You can't tell me nothing about my daddy. You could not tell me nothing about my daddy. I don't care what he did. That's my daddy. That's who, he's my everything, right? So I got my bag packed. I got my pajamas in there that I'm gonna wear when I get to his house, and I got my teddy bear in there. I got all the things that I feel like I need to have a great weekend at my dad's house. And my dad used to pick us up at night. 6, 7 o'clock is when he would pick us up. And most of the times when he picks us up, we go straight to his house. We go to sleep or watch a movie, go to sleep. Then when we wake up on that Saturday, that's when we go out and we start to have some fun. So this one Friday night, my bags are packed and I'm ready to go. And the phone rings. And at this time, this is when you got the phone that's plugged into the jack in the wall, plugged into the wall jack. We had the phone that looks like this thing. You got to pick it up. Hello. We weren't even on cordless phones yet. You see, so some of y'all 2000s babies, right? Some of y'all 2000s babies, y'all probably know about the cordless house phone. We weren't even on the cordless house phone. We were still on the corded house phone. It's about 6:30. My daddy's supposed to be there around 6 o'clock. It's about 6:30. He running late. Phone ring. Ding, 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 ding. And I'm hoping that he's saying, I'm on the way. I'm running late, but I'm on the way. No. He calling my mama to say, I ain't gonna make it. And I notice what he's saying because she smacks her lip, rolls her eyes. This nigga, that's my mama. This nigga here, my mama is real authentic like that. Roll her eyes, smack her lips, smash the phone down. Go put your bag down. He ain't coming. Baby D-Ray is disappointed. Baby D-Ray is like, I'm sad. And I just sit in my sadness. And those were some of those experiences. Those were some of those experiences that really started that abandonment, right? That really started those feelings of, my daddy don't love me. He only loved himself, which is not true. It was never true, but that's what I felt, right? That's what I felt. And so because I dealt with a abandonment wound, something that I had realized about myself is that I would test my partners. I'm going to test you. I'm going to see if you're going to stick around or if you're going to run. Do you really love me, or do you love the idea or the concept of me? Because if you really love me, no matter what we are going through, no matter what we are battling, you're going to be here. You're going to stay. You're going to show up. Okay? And so that goes back to the idea that I was just talking about earlier, is that when we recognize that we have some deficiencies, we yearn to rectify what was lost in our childhood. We yearn to fix that thing. We yearn to rewrite that story. But sometimes in rewriting that story, we cause damage to the people that we are in love with, to the people that we are in relationship with, whether it's our children or our partners. We cause damage because we're wanting them to prove their love. And the only way that they can prove their love is by not doing the things that happened to you in your childhood when you were feeling neglected. And Dream has been a real uh opportunity for healing for me, right? Because he is such a committed person. He is such a committed person. Like when he says that he's going to do something, when he says he's going to be something, there ain't nothing that's going to stop him from doing that thing and from being that person, from accomplishing that goal. And I feel like I needed that to heal that inner child wound. I needed that type of person because if I manifested a relationship with a person who dealt with abandonment issues like me, then it's easy for us to say, you know what? Forget this. Let's go our separate ways. I ain't got time. You doing too much. I'm not liking you right now. Let's separate. Let's go. Cause I already did that. That was my life. My parents decided they weren't gonna do it. My daddy decided he wasn't gonna argue with my mama, so it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the fight. And so I needed somebody in my life who knew that family connection and love is worth the fight. It's worth the work. Okay? So our traumas really highlight what it is we need in partnership. Okay. And so we have to be able to identify that and we have to be able to see that. See, my inner work, my healing, my transformation allow me to see that which I have been blessed to have. But a lot of times, because you haven't done your inner work, you don't see the person, the relationship, your children right in front of you that are giving you the opportunity to heal that deficiency, to heal that wound. And so it'll be happening. They'll be showing up. They'll be giving you the very thing that you need. But because it is so foreign to you, because it is so uncommon, because you haven't spent enough time with yourself, reflecting on yourself, honoring yourself, even when it's present, you don't see it. And that's real. I've had to talk, Dream and I have had to talk plenty of times about this, right? From both perspectives, from his perspective, from my perspective. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to God, to the Most High, for giving me this insight, and for giving me the ability to see these things and to be able to share it with y'all and to be able to heal myself and heal my relationships, to honor myself and honor my relationships, and to recognize the truth behind these love languages. The truth about these love languages is that they are a reflection of the love languages are a reflection of what was neglected in your childhood. And when you understand that, you'll shapeshift your perspective and decide to see and really honor if a person can give it to you. And here's the reality. The reality is, if you want this thing to work, you're going to have someone in your life that is your opposite but equal. Your opposite but equal. So Dream and I, our relationship with our mothers is totally different. The way Dream's mother mothered him is different from the way my mother mothered me. And so in our relationship, we're always in this balancing act. We're always in this balancing act, right? Like, as a woman, I need help. I need support. And I'm open to it because that's who my mother was. My mother was always there to lend a helping hand, and she still is. Dream, on the other hand, as a man, gonna do it himself, gonna get it done. But sometimes that can be out of balance. You need to be able to see the support and the help that I am to you. Do you understand? And so in our relationships, you got to be opposite and equal. Some of y'all are in relationships and both of y'all got the same exact trauma. And therefore, y'all are fighting each other, right? You're fighting each other because you see the world the same exact way. You've been through the same exact shit. That's what we call it, a trauma bond. Dream and I are an example of having different experiences, but they balance each other out. They're on opposite sides of the spectrum, but it's the same thing. And so we have this very divine dance that happens between both of us, from our love languages to how we receive love to how we give love. Okay? So, ladies, next Saturday, I'm going to be teaching a class about how to awaken your womb power, how to awaken your divine feminine energy in order for you to attract sacred love. Okay? I just dropped the link for y'all to sign up for that. Jaslyn, I'm going to answer your question in a sec, right? Ladies, join the class. It's a free live class. It's happening next Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to go deeper into this topic of how to nourish and nurture yourself in love, how to honor yourself as a woman, how to honor that divine feminine womb power that you have, how to honor that so that you can welcome in sacred love. Because best believe there's work that I had to do. At one point in time, I was not ready to fully receive Dream. And I will also say there was from my observation of him, he's also had to learn to receive me as I am and to let me be his helpmate. Okay? I had to let him lead me, right? I grew up, what? My mother is the head of the household, right? That's how I grew up. My mother, the head of the household, she's the man and the woman, the mother and the father. She is all of that. So I had to learn how to say, okay, gotcha. I'll do that. Yes. All right. Let's do it. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all join that class. I just dropped the link. The link will also be in the description. And I want to see y'all there. And we're going to do things a little bit different in this class. We're getting straight to work, right? In fact, Womb Alchemy is going to be starting up at the beginning of July. This first free class that we're doing next Saturday is going to be a part of the entire Womb Alchemy that we're going to be getting into at the beginning of July. So make sure that y'all sign up, even if you've taken Womb Alchemy before. Even if you've taken it before, you need to hear what I got to share with y'all, right? I got some rituals we're going to be doing, some work we're going to be getting into. It's not going to be a lot of talking. It's going to be a lot of working. So make sure on next Saturday, make sure you bring your pen, your notebook, and make sure you are present. Make sure you can really be there so that you can get all the benefits of that class. All right. Let's see what y'all are saying. Let me see. Jasmine said, what if one don't want the babies to witness such violence between the parents? Yeah. First of all, your kids need to see disagreement. That's just the facts. Violence is a whole nother word. Okay. Violence is a whole nother word. Violence to me sounds like physical and emotional and verbal abuse. Those things you should protect your kids from. But disagreement, your kids need to see it because you don't want your kids growing up in a reality thinking that their mama and their daddy never had an argument. To me, that is doing a disservice to your kids because they go out into life thinking that everything is always copacetic and everything is always good. And then when they get into arguments and disagreements with people in their lives, they don't know how to handle that, right? They think that the world is coming to an end because they got into an argument, and that's just a lie. It's an illusion. Arguments and disagreements within families are necessary because arguments and disagreements are an opportunity for growth. If we're ever arguing or disagreeing about something, that just says to me that there is an area in our lives that we're not necessarily on the same page. Right? I have this perspective, you have this perspective, and we need to reconcile that. We need to come to some sort of agreement. We need to come to some sort of understanding. But if we never show our kids the process of going through disagreement and getting to understanding, then they are not able to implement that in their own lives because they've never seen it. Right? I worked with a client who told me her parents never argued in front of her. And then years later, her parents up and got a divorce and she's surprised. She's like, what the hell? I didn't even know that y'all argued. Right? So it's so unrealistic to real life to shield your kids from every single disagreement that you and your partner have. Right? But again, disagreement and violence, two separate things. If you are in a violent situation, then you need to remove yourself from that completely. If you are in a co-parenting situation, you guys got to get focused. A lot of the times in a co-parenting situation, parents are selfish and self-centered. And your intention is not even on the kids. Right? Your intention is, I want to control the other person. I want to manipulate the other person. I want to dictate what they do. I want to make them pay for the relationship not working out. Okay? So we got to get very real. And we got to be real about who we made kids with. Who you made kids with. Because people ain't showing you nothing new. Let's just be real about it. like whenever I get into a disagreement with people who I'm close to, I'm not like, oh, this is new. Surprise, I didn't know you had that in you. No, I've probably seen glimpses of it. Probably ignored it. Probably swept it under the rug, right? Probably did not allow myself to fully accept what you were showing me because I didn't want to ruin the illusion that I have of our relationship. So we got to be real. We got to be honest with ourselves and understand that from that place of honesty, we can change the situation. We can change the situation from that place of honesty, but you got to be honest, right? So like, I know somebody who was in a relationship with a woman who was very spiteful. And we knew she'd been spiteful. Like, she was spiteful from the beginning. You say something that she don't like, she's gonna stab you with her tongue. She's gonna conjure up the most disgusting thing that she can say to hurt you. I know this about this woman. So in my engagements with her, I'm not going to allow her doing and showing and revealing who she is. I'm not going to allow that to take me off of my center, take me off of my square, because I know you. So a lot of the times we have to accept. And when I say accept, I don't mean that you continue to be in a relationship with this person, though they are continuously showing you a lack of boundaries and a lack of self-restraint. What I'm saying is that I accept the fact that this is you, and now I get to decide how I want to do something different. And that's what boundaries are. We got to understand that boundaries are for ourselves. Boundaries are not to dictate what another person does. Boundaries are to say, this is what I'm going to do when you violate the boundaries that I have set. When you cross this point of no return, this is going to be my reaction. So you got to ask yourself if that's what you want. If you do this, this is what I'm going to do. And then once you set that boundary, you got to stand firm on that. You can't waver on that, right? So my ex sister-in-law, she is I talked, I'll kind of share with y'all a little bit about her a little bit, but she can be nasty and manipulative, right? The last time we had a big falling out was maybe 2.5 years ago, right before Kimmy was born. Right before Kimmy was born. And I had told myself after that point, I will never, and never is a very strong word, but more than likely, the same love, the same effort, the same intention that I was giving you, not happening. When I engage with you, I'm engaging with you like you literally an associate. Like you're just somebody that I know. Like we're not family. You're somebody that I know. You are the mother to my niece and my nephew. And I just handle you like somebody that I just know on the street, like somebody that I probably went to school with. I have no commitment or no intentional effort that I'm gonna put in with you, because you violated a boundary so strong that now it's literally high and by. It's okay, yeah, I got the kids, they'll be fine, okay, yeah, bye, cool. It ain't no, yeah, you want to come to the house for Thanksgiving? It ain't no, I'm hosting a party, come over here and eat. It ain't no, yeah, I got something for you. It ain't no, oh, none of that. None of that. Because I made it clear that if you spoke a certain way to me, to my mama, in reference to me, to at that point, it was going to be done. At that point, it's a wrap. You are just somebody that I know. Hi and bye. So you can't be afraid to put those things into place. All right. Any more questions? I know I went in a whole tangent off that one question, but it was a very real question. Very, very real question. That's real. I love that. And allow him to reciprocate what he needs. That's beautiful. Definitely. I think the whole gist of this conversation I want y'all to know is that you got to know what you need. You got to know what you need. You got to know what you crave. A lot of times we don't know what we need. And we think that this love language thing is just cute, right? We think that this whole love language thing is like, oh, this is my love language and this is what I crave in my relationships. No, this shit is real. There's a deeper spiritual truth to it. In these love languages, you are seeking to heal your wounded inner child. That's what's happening in these love languages. So we want to see it from a different perspective. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions here. Ladies, I will see y'all next Saturday, but of course I will see y'all before that. Make sure y'all join me live Monday mornings for Monday Miracle or Miracle Mondays at 6:45 in the morning. So early morning, getting your week started with me, tapping into the miracles of the week. And then come back here on Thursdays. And then Patreon. Oh my God, let me mention this before we go. Patreon. Ladies, on Monday, 9:30 a.m. this upcoming Monday in Patreon, we are having an all women's class. So if you are a Patreon member on 9:30 this morning, on 9:30 Monday morning, we're having a class called The Lotus, and we are just going to be talking about how to open up in sacredness and sensuality as a woman. Oh my God, I got some good stuff. Dream and I have been doing some trial and error stuff that I plan on sharing with all the ladies in Patreon Monday morning, 9:30. Also, tomorrow, Patreon family, we have a class called The Money Algorithm being taught by Pacho. So, Patreon family, tomorrow morning, if you want to learn your money algorithm, meaning the way in which you manage and multiply money through your own creativity, tomorrow morning, 9:30, live on Zoom, our girl Pacho is going to be teaching that class. So make sure that y'all are there for that. And then Monday morning, we're doing all ladies at 9:30 a.m. Shamika, hey girl, I miss you. I miss you, Shamika. I was just thinking about you the other day, actually. Let me see what you just said. Finally, finally, set a boundary the beginning of the year, and so grateful I have continued to stand on it. Yeah, Shamika, stand on business. Okay. When they talking about standing on business, they talking about you set that boundary and that thing is unwavering. 1111. Yeah, drop your 111. Drop your 1111s in the chat. And then I got to go because I hear Kai downstairs acting up with his daddy. Stand on business. Stand on business. Listen, I set boundaries with my kids, and I need to set a boundary with Kai. He done started eating regular food, y'all, and he wants to think that he just gets to yell, and that's how he gets his food. I put some food in his mouth. Right when that food is swallowed, he back. Put like literally, he's not giving your girl no time to put that food in his mouth. And it's a violation of boundaries, sir, because you're not just about to be yelling. I get it, you 6 month old, but you're not just gonna be yelling just to be getting food. Like you gotta relax. And so Dream and I are both actively setting boundaries on Kai. We're like, nope, you're not getting this food until you're quiet. So he'll calm down for that second, then he get that food. All right. Shamika, though, I'm glad it's good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. Hey, Jenny, Super Sand, Jaslyn, hey. I just want to say hey to some of y'all that came in kind of after. Hey, Shakila, glad to see you, sis. I love y'all. And I will see y'all Monday morning. Patreon, I'll see you tomorrow. And then, of course, Saturday for the book club. I am so proud of the growth that we are all experiencing. And I will see y'all soon. Peace and love.